Hello everyone, and welcome to this presentation of how to produce a killer webinar or webcast. Okay, so you're asking, what's the difference between a webinar and a webcast? While there is some confusion in the terminology used throughout the industry, there are similarities. A webinar, or a web conference, is basically a seminar or collaboration of a few, conducted and delivered over the internet, live or on demand, usually shared and dispersed to remote locations. The event will usually contain a slide presentation or a whiteboard and is presented by just one, maybe two speakers. The event can be a presentation, like this one, a discussion, demonstration, or instructional session used for the purpose of things like continuing education. A webinar can be designed to be interactive if you choose to allow it. Engaging your audience as much as possible will always improve the success of your event. Now, a webcast is typically a live presentation broadcast over the internet using the process of putting together a video signal, PowerPoint, and interactive elements such as polls and surveys. This is broadcast to a wider audience on the web from typically one speaker, but not limited to. Of course, a webcast can be pre-recorded and distributed on demand as well. Webcast events can vary from speakers, educational events, or live concerts. There's really no limit. You can webcast any event you wish to broadcast over the internet. Now, to get to the intended point, how to produce a killer webinar or webcast. Producing a successful webinar or webcast first takes careful planning, having a clear goal in mind, and having plenty of time to execute your plan before the event. The production practices, in other words, how you put together a managed webinar or webcast with a production team, is crucial and can make or break an event. There are usually 5 key stages of a webinar or webcast production that we'll talk about: planning, setup and pre-production, rehearsal, the event performance itself, and finalizing the event, what happens after the event has been completed. Stage number 1, planning. Probably the most important stage of all. This is where all of the questions should be answered. This is where you will create the plan and determine your goal for success. Before any production begins, the client, event producer, and production team should all come together and create a plan for how best to execute the event and agree on the responsibilities of all parties. You never want any confusion in the responsibilities. This can be a disaster if the process of the event has not properly been worked out. When choosing a presenter, be sure that they are engaging as well as informative. This keeps your audience captive and keeps them from diverting their attention elsewhere. Stage number 2, setup and pre-production. This will involve creating and developing your invitation or promotional email and registration process for the event. Know what information you want to gather from your attendees and make sure that that information is being directed to the right person. This would probably be the client and the event producer. You want to make sure that all of the content is preloaded into the webcasting platform, such as any video, presentation materials, and PowerPoint slides that you may have. You also want to prepare any polling questions or surveys you wish to disperse throughout the event. You want to have everything at your fingertips ready to go as you are presenting and not be fumbling around searching your computer for any important document you may need for reference. Make sure your presenter has a good, clean, and clear audio signal. Now, in the past, the telephone was usually the norm for delivering audio, but nowadays streaming audio through a web platform has become more acceptable, such as what you're hearing today in this presentation. There are many choices of great headsets and microphones that will deliver quality audio. Again, you always want to be sure and test your equipment before the event. Same with your video. There are many great webcams out there if you decide to use one. Of course, if you're shooting a live or pre-recorded webcast as a pay event, you want to have professional video equipment or hire a professional production company to help deliver exceptional quality. Your broadcast will only be as good as your capture, so be mindful of the process. Okay, now invite your guests. The same tools you would use to invite to a live event, you can also use to invite to your web-based event. From here, you will gather the information from your registered guests and will be able to email them, reminding them of the date and time, as well as delivering the login credentials, allowing them to enter the event. Stage number 3, the rehearsal. Again, another very important stage. Once the pre-production setup has been completed and all of the content has been loaded into the web platform, go ahead and schedule a time with the presenter and have them become comfortable with the console and its functionality. Run through the event and make sure everything is correctly set and everything flows smoothly. This is where you will find out if something has been missed or forgotten about. You will also want to make sure everyone on your production team is clear and comfortable with the event process and their assigned responsibilities. If there is ever any question in this process, be sure you have the answer to solve the issue before the event. Okay, it's showtime. Stage number 4, the event performance. This is when the event will actually be occurring live or being pre-recorded for future on-demand playability. Now you want to have your presenter log in early and do a final AV check. Make sure there is clear communication with the presenter, production team, and event producer before you go live. The event producer should make sure all of the invited participants have gained access to the event and handle any technical difficulties beforehand should any arise. Again, you don't want to have any issues arise when the event is scheduled to begin. It's always good to have a technical production team behind the scenes to manage the event throughout and be able to respond to questions from the presenter or the participants. Then, it's all up to you. Have a great event. Stage number 5, finalizing the event. When the event is concluded, of course, you always want to thank your virtual attendees for joining. Make sure that your attendees have all the information that was intended for them. You will want to make accessible the appropriate contact information in case for some reason they cannot access the materials. This will allow you to get the information to them directly after the event. You will want to collect data from any interactive elements you may have had and generate your reports. You will also want to conduct a follow-up email to your attendees to thank them again and be sure to inform and invite them to your next event. Don't be afraid to ask if there was anything that could have made the event experience better for them. This will help make your future events even better. You'll want to archive the event for any future monetization. Also, be sure and let your attendees know about the deliverables you can offer, such as customized printed and packaged CD and DVDs or MP3 files. An archive of the event can also be created and made available through your website. They can view it just as it happened, or you can have it edited into a professionally polished presentation. And that's about it. I hope this presentation has been informative. We appreciate you attending, and we hope you have learned a little bit more about the virtual event process. If you are new to the virtual online event experience, or even if you've held an event in the past, contact us for more information on how we can help make your next event a success. And let Chisel Multimedia help you expand your presence. Thank you.